Story 1. The Hitchhiker at Mile 47 by Marcus Reed. I was driving home from work one November night, heading down Route 52, this long stretch of road that cuts through empty farmland about 2 hours outside the city. It was around 11 p.m., and the road was completely dead. No other cars, no lights, just me and the darkness. I'd taken this route 100 times before, so I wasn't worried. That was my mistake. At mile marker 47, my headlights caught something strange. There was a person standing on the shoulder, completely still, facing the road. It was a woman in a light blue dress, way too thin for the cold November weather. As I got closer, I saw her more clearly. She was pale, almost translucent in the headlight glow, with long, dark hair covering part of her face. I knew I shouldn't stop. Every instinct was screaming at me not to pull over. But something else was stronger. A compulsion, almost hypnotic. My foot eased off the gas, and I found myself slowing down. She didn't move. She just stood there, watching my car approach with her head tilted slightly. I rolled down my window. The air that rushed in was ice cold, colder than it should have been. "Are you okay?" I called out. She didn't respond. She just tilted her head the other way, like she was studying me. Up close, I noticed something wasn't right with her breathing. She wasn't breathing at all. Her chest didn't move. Her lips were slightly blue. "Do you need help?" I asked again, my voice shakier this time. And then, slowly, she opened her mouth. No sound came out, but I could see her lips forming words. I couldn't quite make them out. She stepped toward my car, and that's when the temperature inside dropped so rapidly that my breath became visible in small white puffs. My survival instinct finally kicked in. I hit the gas hard, tires spinning against the wet asphalt. In my rearview mirror, I watched her standing motionless in the middle of the road, still watching my car disappear into the darkness. But here's the thing that still haunts me. When I looked down at my passenger seat, there was a small, wet handprint on the inside of the door. I live alone. I checked my car when I got home. All the doors had been locked. 3 weeks later, I did something stupid. I drove that same route during the day, trying to rationalize what I'd seen. Near mile marker 47, I pulled over and asked a local at a nearby gas station about the woman in the blue dress. The cashier went completely silent. She asked me to describe her, and when I did, she got very pale. "That's impossible," she whispered. She then told me that a young woman named Sarah had gone missing on that exact stretch of road in 1987. She'd been wearing a light blue dress. The case was never solved. Her body was never found. I haven't driven that route since. Story 2. The Breakdown by Jennifer Walsh. My car broke down on Highway 89, a route through rural Colorado that most people avoid. It was early October, and I was driving to visit my sister. My phone had died 2 hours earlier, so I had no way to call for help. I grabbed my emergency kit from the trunk and decided to wait it out. It was only 5 p.m. Someone would come by eventually. I sat on the hood of my car, watching the sun sink lower. The road was completely empty. No other vehicles, No distant lights, just me and the vast open landscape. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the temperature dropped dramatically. I put on my jacket and waited. Around 7 p.m., I heard something that made my skin crawl. It was a sound I couldn't identify, like metal scraping against metal, but rhythmic and deliberate. It was coming from somewhere out in the darkness, beyond the road, maybe a quarter-mile away. Scrape, scrape, scrape. It stopped, then started again after a few seconds. The sound was constant, methodical, like someone was dragging something heavy. I got back in my car and locked the doors. The sound continued. Scrape, 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 getting marginally closer. I tried to convince myself it was an animal or wind moving something, but the rhythm was too precise, too intentional. I turned on my headlights and scanned the darkness around the car. Nothing, just empty plains. Then I saw it. About 100 yards away, there was a figure standing motionless. It was too dark to make out details, but it was definitely humanoid. Too tall, too thin, impossibly tall. It wasn't moving, just standing there, facing my car, watching. I told myself to stay calm. Maybe it was someone who lived nearby, coming to help. I flashed my headlights to get their attention. The figure didn't react. I flashed them again. This time, it moved. Not toward me, sideways, gliding almost, moving laterally across the plains in a way that no human should be able to move. Smooth, fluid, wrong. The scraping sound stopped. The silence was somehow worse than the sound. I sat in my locked car, engine off, watching the darkness. I could feel something out there, observing me with an intelligence that felt completely alien. My heart was pounding so hard, I could hear it in my ears. Then my car's interior light flickered on by itself, then off, then on again. The radio suddenly burst to life with static so loud I jumped. I scrambled to turn it off, my hands shaking. When I looked back out the windshield, there were more figures now. Not 1, 5, 7. I couldn't count them. They were all standing at different distances, all facing my car, all completely still. I don't remember making the decision, but suddenly I was starting the car. The engine turned over, somehow, even though it had been completely dead minutes before. I didn't care about the figures. I didn't care about anything except getting away. I floored the accelerator. The last thing I saw in my rearview mirror before the road curved was all of those figures, perfectly stationary, their heads turning in unison to watch my car disappear into the night. When I finally reached my sister's house 40 minutes later, I was hysterical. She called the highway patrol. They drove that stretch of road with me, but found nothing. No figures, no signs of anything unusual. My car worked perfectly the entire drive. Never had another problem with it. I never found out what those things were or why my car started on its own. But sometimes, late at night, I drive down highways and I feel like I'm being watched. And I wonder if they're still out there, standing in fields, waiting for the next car to break down. Which story scared you the most? the impossible hitchhiker, or the silent watchers in the darkness? Comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed these terrifying tales, please subscribe for more chilling true stories that will keep you up at night. Thanks for watching.